better? Yes, okay.
So we can start.
Yes.
A very good morning to everyone present here. I, on behalf of Department of Add-on-Vocational Courses and Organizing Committee of Lala Lajpatrai College, welcomes you all to this seminar. Most of the students who have graduated or are going to be graduated typically have two options. One is to get into a college or university to do their master's, PG, or certificate courses. And the second is to seek a job or get into some kind of business. First option often leads to many types of confusions, like what is the right course for me? Which is the best university? Which country should I go to? Which is the right cost and the right process to admit? Today, we have ibrands with us, an educational consultancy, to clear all those confusions and help the students to go ahead in their life. On this note, I would like our respected principal ma'am, Dr. Neelam Arora, to enlighten us and guide us with her kind words. Ma'am, over to you.
Good morning. Good morning to Mr. Mirwani. Good morning, Chirag sir and Kavita madam from Maharashtra College and Podar College. And my greatest thanks to Shobhana, principal of Podar College, for collaborating with us, and to Dr. Shiraz Chowgle sir for collaborating as once again we are working as a team. This topic on international admission tips for PG and master's degree courses. Every day I sign so many transcripts, so many people asking for recommendation letters to go abroad. And sometimes I wonder that they spend so much of money. Are they joining the right course? I remember last 2 years ago, my son went to Ireland to do one course on creative and critical media in one university there, Maynooth University. After doing a lot of research, we thought that the course is really good. And we spent such a lot of money, 20 lakh plus. And when actually my son went there, it was such a big disappointment. There were hardly any students or any infrastructure, and whatever was the course content promised was not delivered. So somehow what we have in our mind, कि foreign education है ना तो बहुत अच्छा है. All universities abroad are very good. All foreign countries give very good education. India में कुछ नहीं है. Sometimes there are some courses which are far better in India also. And there are some courses which are not so good abroad, and we get stuck in it because we have no knowledge. So I think knowledge is the key. Finding the right university abroad is the key. And sitting in India, we really don't know which one is good. So an expert consultant advice is an absolute must, because we are going to spend a lot of money. Students are going to go there. They're going to spend so much of time there. And if they don't get a good course, they are neither able to come back, neither get a refund. And since they have got their visas and spent so much of money on traveling and stay, they are stuck there till the course is complete. So I think when I saw Mr. Mirwani's mail in our email, I said this is a very, very pertinent topic, because I watch every day so many students desiring to go abroad, have the resources to go abroad, but sometimes may not get the right place to go to. So I'm looking forward to listening to his guidance, and I would urge all the students, before you plan a visit to study abroad, please do take advice of some consultant and choose the right university. So once again, I wish you all the best. I thank Rahul and his team and the vocational course for organizing this. And once again, extend my thanks to Podar College Principal, Dr. Shobhana, and Maharashtra College Principal, Dr. Chowgle, and of course to Mr. Mirwani, and best of luck to all the students. Thank you, and I look forward to listening to the views of Kavita, who is representing Podar College, and Dr. Shira Chaugule, who is principal of Maharashtra College. Thank you.
I would now request Kogle Sir, Principal, Maharashtra College, to give his opening remarks.
Thank you, Madam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. That is in the name of Allah, the most merciful. A warm good morning to one and all. First and foremost, let me thank Mr. Jitu Mirwani for taking up a pertinent topic. As Madam Arora said, that this is a requirement for the students who want to go for higher education in other countries, but actually they are in the dark many a times. They are misguided, as very well said, and unfortunately they land up in the wrong place for a wrong degree, and by that time they have already sunk large amount of their funds, and which are not to be written back. So therefore, the students who have joined today, this is an opportunity for you, so that whatever area you want to explore out of India, you can be guided properly. And as Madam Arora said, it is the need that whoever, any student and the parents, but natural, because ultimately the funds are going to come from the parents, they need to go into the details before plunging into taking admission. They should visit consultants who can, and genuine consultants. Let me be very clear, there are many consultants, but the question is whether they are genuine consultants or not. I think so. We have one over here with Mirwani, and that would be something which would be very helpful, so that the student does not ultimately land up in something. As Madam said, her son landed up in a country where the university or that particular college did not have the necessary infrastructure and so on. So this is definitely the need. And I also keep on signing letters of recommendation for many students who want to join the foreign universities after their graduation. We have always, that is Maharashtra College and Lala Lajpatrai College, we have always tied up together, and wherever opportunities have come, we have had a triangle. Like here we have a Podar College also with us, and it is necessary that a collaborative process should be done, so that the reach to number of students, the reach is there. More students benefit out of this. Hopefully, this webinar on international admission tips on PGs and master program will be beneficial to all the students who are attending over here. Not only so, as it is live on YouTube and it is recorded, it will be available, so that those who are attending over here, they can also share it with those who have not been able to attend, their friends, that they should take these tips before ultimately deciding on where they want to go, which country they want to go, which university they want to go. And I hope that this would be a fruitful webinar for the students and the parents over here. With these few words, once again, I would like to thank Madam Neelam Arora, because she always, whenever she has these kinds of programs, she does not miss me out. She always says you have to join hands. Thank you, Madam, for always being there for Maharashtra College. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Neelam ma'am, for that insightful address. I now request Ms. Kavita Jajo ma'am from RA Podar College of Commerce and Economics, Vice Principal, to share her views.
Respected Principal Dr. Neelam Arora, Principal Maharashtra College, sir, our resource person, Mr. Mirwani today, my colleagues and my dear students. I think I'd like to congratulate firstly Lala College for taking up a topic which, is something which everybody would want to know, but we have been a little hesitant, or we have not taken the step forward. So Neelam ma'am, congratulations to you and your team to taking up this topic, because taking an informed call in today's world is so important. We are attracted by, as madam said, we are attracted by various universities. But where do we get the correct information? How do we search for that correct information? I think that's so important. As sir said, that the students want information. How do we go about? It is we people who can guide them, who can direct them. How do we get this information? So we are very happy to collaborate with Lala College and Maharashtra College for this event. And otherwise, I just spoke at the beginning that we would like to have many more collaborative events where the student community, the faculty, all benefit. I'm looking forward to hear from everyone and wish you all the best, the organizing team. Thank you for inviting me. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now request Rahul sir to introduce our today's resource person. Sir, over to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kashish. And a very good morning to the esteemed dignitaries on the dais, member participants from various colleges, students, as well as teachers and dear parents who have joined us for today's session. A very good morning to one and all. It is indeed my honor and privilege to introduce our resource person, Mr. Jitendra Mirwani, sir, for today's online webinar organized by Department of Add-on-Vocational Courses, Lala Lajpatrai College of Commerce and Economics, in collaboration with Podar College of Commerce and Economics Autonomous and Maharashtra College of Arts, Commerce and Science, under the aegis of IQAC and in association with ibrands. Mr. Mirwani, to talk about Mr. Mirwani, sir has completed his MBA from Chetna Institute, Mumbai, and presently the Director, Content and Marketing, Nucleon Tech Private Limited, and co-founder ibrands. Sir has an expertise over 2 decades in corporate training, sales, growth strategy, worked for clients across industries, may it be banking, products, IT, or media, with a wide network with corporate clientele, houses, universities, colleges across the world. Sir has to his credit and bagged a lot of accolades in consulting over 5,000 youth kids across urban Maharashtra and has headed an endeavor by Lokmat Media for helping youth find their calling under the umbrella UA Next. Sir has been consulting children on education, career choices over last 3 years. Sir has aided pro bono by helping kids secure admissions in universities abroad. I'm sure after this session, we are going to have a lot of takeaways aiding both parents and students in helping pursue studies abroad, a wish by most of our students in their own little world, but held back with a lot of contingencies, maybe known or some unknown. I'm very sure, sir, that they will all those problems are going to be resolved towards the end of this session. And I now request Mr. Mirwani, sir, to kindly take over this virtual dais and address the gathering. Over to you, Mirwani, sir.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Our few of our interactions in the past 1 week has made me extremely overwhelmed. I must before we start say that this is the entire string has started with Miss Arora, where I addressed your junior college, and now I've had the privilege to address not only your senior college, your team, but I thank principal, vice principal of Maharashtra College, principal of Podar College, to give me this opportunity to speak out on what I feel. And you all have accurately pointed out one of the most important aspects of when students want to either take opportunity of education abroad, or they look at opportunities and working after their education. And Dr. Shiraz also very clearly pointed out that there are a lot of students who are looking at this, but they spend their hard-earned money of the parents and don't know whether they are doing the right thing, There are a lot of consultants out there. I heard Dr. Arora's story of her children studying in Ireland, and it is accurate that although we get a lot of websites which point out various things, it may or may not be always accurate in terms of what you need there. And my experience, the reason why I have even undertaken this webinar is to without any expectation, let me put it out there, whether the students then sign up, but it is important for students and parents and faculty to have some kind of an constructive apparatus in their head that there is a structure to everything. There has been too much being said out there where people kind of pick up things from here and there, but there has never been a structure. Much like we have a structure in our colleges of how to get into medical, how to get into commerce, how to get into arts, there is a structure which all of the countries that we are going to discuss today, follow, and it's a systematic way of approaching things. So my whole endeavor over here is to take the path which will bring some light in the minds of the students who are aspiring to study, and give them a sense of structure, give them a sense of how to start approaching this entire topic. So we'll just dive right into it. Now, this is a current scenario. What has happened during the pandemic is, marks are no longer just the differentiating factor. Standard, what has happened is a lot of students, because of the marking system, the exams are not given. They got average marks. It has happened in a lot of streams. So even internationally, there has been COVID and a lot of exams have not happened. So they know, the admission counselors know that marks may or may not be the most accurate way of looking at a particular aspirant. The other thing which is, very prevalent when you start looking at, approaching, certain websites, you will always get standard answers from the websites. What happens is, in most of the universities, whether you're looking at US, UK, Canada, Australia, there are answers for students who want to apply, looked at the aggregate of what the questions are. So if there are maximum number of students asking a particular questions, that will be answered. It will not be totally tailor-made for you. So you will encounter this when you go through when you go through websites of colleges, but don't get disheartened because this is how it is. The other thing is there is not enough information from teachers. A lot of students, when I have spoken to in various colleges and universities in India, I'm talking about, they say the teachers or the counselors. So this may not be the teachers necessarily, even the international counselors which are appointed by the universities, sometimes colleges, they might not have all the answers because it is extremely painful, and it evolves a lot. So an individual teacher might not. So I have a team. So what happens is basically teachers in universities need to upgrade themselves a lot more than what is being currently done. And I don't blame them because they don't typically have the infrastructure. So please don't expect too much from, if you have any international counselor in your university. International counselors are too busy to evaluate each case. Now, this is what happens when you apply to a lot of universities which have the admission rate, the acknowledgement rate is far lesser than, the number of seats. So we in India are really, we understand this problem because you enter colleges like when the students have entered Maharashtra, Podar or Lala's, you know that the number of students applying is far larger than the number of seats that are available. So it is the same for a lot of good universities internationally. So international counselor also will not, spend time necessarily looking at your case separately. It is your job to project that you are, something that, is right for that particular college. And a lot of questions that I hear, now this is again an aggregation, conceding the same thing that I was making a point, that standard answers. what makes more sense? A lot of people ask these questions. In person, online, when you take international courses abroad, in person, online, or hybrid, a little bit of both. So we will answer some of these questions. So why I understand is because I've gone through the similar problems myself. The reason I even, Rahul sir was asking me, that you have this entire going concern business, then what is it that you're doing here? I have actually a little bit on my personal story. About 5.5 years ago, I have two daughters. Both of them are studying in the US. Correction, my elder daughter is already graduate. She's in a postgraduate scenario. My younger one is in, graduating now. So when I started researching, this is about 6.5 years ago, researching as to how I should go about, getting admission in colleges. I visited some of the counselors then, and they were not really counselors. They were consultants who were giving me standard answers of where they have tied up with in the universities. And I'm not trying to run down any educational counselor or consultant. I'm just speaking about my experience here. And I found that there were a lot of courses outside of, the typical your science, technology, math, where, they had the answers for, but my kids were looking for liberal arts. They were looking at, one of them was making films. So I could not find the answers. Plus the standard answers when I asked for whether, what is the difference between a university, what are the difference between courses, I really got, and I was willing to spend top dollar for it. I was willing to spend, but I really didn't get the answers. So what I did, and not many people do, is I took the visa, took up my passport, took a ticket, and went to Canada and US. And I've been driving around there. So I drove across 25 to 30 colleges myself, met the educational counselors, deans, and got information that I can tell you was like gold. Of course, not everyone can do it. And after that, I made the decision of, and that when I matched with what I was getting here in terms of advice, I mean, there was honestly a world of difference. Therefore, I said, okay, since this is the case, then, I have to do what I've done for my children. I have to make sure that I can do as much as I can for other kids too. So that is the background of the story, and I'll continue from there. Now, when you're, so this is also covering undergraduate in a little way, but most of the students over here are in already graduating or in the last year or postgraduate. So there are certain courses called the postgraduate, there's the master's program, and there's the doctorate, PhD. The difference between a postgraduate and a master's program is that in postgraduate, you can do certificate courses, which may not be degree-oriented courses. You can do, short courses of 6 to 9 months, 12 months to 24 months. It depends on what you do, but they might not qualify as a degree. Okay. So I want you to make a first distinction there that postgraduate need not necessarily mean masters. Masters is different than postgraduate. Okay. A lot of students who are, looking at excelling in a particular subject or in a particular skill. For example, you want to go into automobile engineering. So you might look at a 1 year or a 9-month course and say, or you're looking at just excelling in digital marketing, for example. So you can look at a certificate course, a diploma, which is a postgraduate program, but it's not a master's degree. If you want to look at, let's say, journalism, you might take 2 years. If you're looking at MBA, it is 2 years. So MA, MS, MBA, these are all, Master of Arts, Master of Sciences, MBA. They are all programs which are master's degree, which are for 2 years. Okay. What I've also tried and bring forth to you is that what are the different, if you look at undergraduate degree. So why I put undergraduate degree or diploma there is because in US you have to do 12 plus 4 years for them to recognize you for a program which is postgraduate or master's or PhD. Okay. So therefore, if you're doing a BCom in our country or you're in the 12 plus 3 system that we have, you might have to do another 1 year which can be MCom, which can be MSc, which can be, MA in arts, some subjects, so that you get that one more year if you're looking at US as an option and even Canada as an option. In Canada, there are also certain colleges which accept 12+3. Okay, so if you graduate as a BCom, as a BA, as a BSc, you could look at a PG or a master's program, but this you'll have to check university to university. What I've also put over there is in UK, it is our program. So India is in particular actually follows the UK method of education. So this is 12+3. So in UK, you can absolutely go in after your graduation in BCom, etc. In Australia, it is also 15 years, and there is a term over there written TAF, VET, and RTO, which mean technical and further education colleges. RTO is registered training colleges, and VET is vocational education and training colleges. So why have I put that is because these are separate from large scale universities. They offer you again expertise in some sort of a subject, like I said, mechanical engineering, so on and so forth. So particular subjects. So they are separate from universities. They are far more reasonable, of course, and just for a specific course or a specific skill that you want to develop. If you want to go for a master's program, then again, if you look at the master's degree for each one of the countries, I have made a distinction there. Typically, a large section of students that go from India, go for their MBA program, and it is just research. What people recommend is that there are two ways of doing it. One is that you get some experience over here, take an experience of 2 to 3 years, and then go for an MBA program. Or if you want to go immediate MBA program, then there is no problem. There are universities which are immediately after your graduation, in your post-graduation, they'll give you master's degree, MBA program too. But then you have to evaluate, because you should not be in a group where there are people who have, they'll be always ahead of you in class. So you'll have to check that first time MBA is a large section of people who are attending that MBA program, and it's similar for most of the other streams you take. It is important to know what is the group which is going to study with you. So these information, although are available, we don't look at it because we conveniently forget, why? Because our focus will always be what is the cost, whether I'm getting scholarship, whether there's a program. So we always steer towards that, which is important. But in order to make sure that, and I keep going back to Ms. Arora's plan, that although you will get some, courses, some, cost-related benefits from a particular university, whether that's the right university for you or not is very important. So it is like, I'm getting a discount of 70% on lipstick, but I don't use lipstick. So what am I going to take that 70%? So will I just buy that lipstick because I'm getting 70% discount? No. Whether you give me 90% discount also, I won't buy it, right? I might buy it for my wife. She uses it. But point being that if I'm going to study in a particular program, and if I look at only from the cost and the finance point of view, focus on that and don't look at what I'm going to get as value from that university, any amount of money that you spend over there is a waste. So let's be clear about that. So that is what I've tried to point out over here. Whenever you undertake any program, you have to know what are those courses that they are offering, whether it makes sense to your objectives. And if you don't get answers from there, then you have to go through an exercise of going through other courses that are being given. So there is a structure to it, is what I'm trying to tell you. You have to make your mind of understanding how to bring out that structure. I'll help you a little bit on that going further. So this is a particular chart that I've tried to create for you to distinguish between how you should prepare, where you are at. Okay, there is a PG certificate or diploma courses which are available. There are master's degree and there are doctorates. Usually doctorate is after you complete your master's degree. wait, but I've not decided on which course I want to enroll in. So, like I said, that you can choose from degree to certificate or diploma courses, which I've mentioned in the previous slide. You can choose from private and public universities too. Now, a lot of people in India have this whole understanding that public university or government colleges means it's a bad word, not great education, not great, teachers, faculty, terrible, this and that. I'm just saying what I've heard, and it's not true. At the same time, I must tell you it's not true. Even in, universities abroad, there are for some of the finest universities are public universities. And why they are good is because they offer you courses, because they can hire a lot more, staff. They are publicly funded by the government. You can move from one course to another because it is all in-house into the, into the public university. They have faculties for each and every courses, which are, very, very rare in private universities. So you have to establish that whether this public university is good for you or not. And usually the cost is also lower and the flexibility is higher. Okay. So there's the public university. In private universities, it might be a smaller college, but you will they hire the finest faculty there is the world has to offer. They will give you the courses which will be researched to such an extent that you will automatically, even if you pass through those courses, you will be an expert at the subjects you've taken up, and they will have, enough employment opportunities because some of the private universities offer you the best placement in the world. So you can choose from public and private universities depending upon what your objective of joining that particular courses. Okay, so there are pros and cons of private and public universities. Don't go with a pre-decided notion that public or private university is good or bad, or private university is good or bad. Okay, so there are factors which work pro and con in public and private universities. So go with an open mind, research. Okay, so you can choose from 1 or 2 year programs. Again, people kind of, UK has a culture of giving you 1 year programs in your postgraduate or masters. The US typically and Canada have 2 year programs. Both of them are recognized. It really depends on what your objective is once you go through it. Okay, so to tell you a little bit more about, in UK, most people who have decided already as to what they want to pursue, they will go in for the UK way of learning. People who want to make a lot of changes in their courses, so they go with the US or the Canada. Why? Because in the first year, you learn a lot about varied subjects. And then in the second year, you specialize. So these are some of the reasons why people choose between UK, US, Canada, Australia, right? So this is one way of looking at it. You can choose from different streams if you're undecided also. What are streams? I mentioned there: science, technology, research, engineering, arts, and maths, right? So even today, if you're undecided on what stream you really want to pursue, you are interested in a couple of subjects, US and Canada typically offer you the options of choosing different subjects from different streams. You can choose from science, you can choose from research, arts, and mathematics in the same year. That is something that US and Canada offer. They are slightly more expensive. In UK, Australia, typically you are decided on what course you want to. If you've decided that I'm going to be a marine biologist, so you're quite decided. So you will go and choose. So UK, Australia, you're decided that this is what you want to do, and you will follow that path. There is no confusion in your mind. So you can go. So there are 1 year programs that offer that too. So this is what the general flow of things is, of how to decide on which course you want to enroll in. Well, that's great. But what if I want admission in the best university in my list? Now, this is the biggest disaster. I might start by saying that people create this definition of what is the best is something that I must bring to the notice. We explore US, UK, Canada, and Australia for now. There are certain other countries also that we do, but largely we are doing this. And we help you with what your interpretation of best means. Is it the course? Is it the rank of the university? Is it the faculty to student ratio or cost? These are some of the large factors. There will be other factors which I will discuss. Just because it is written on Google when you go that this is the top university and you think that you will be able to join it and be very successful is not the case. Some of the best universities that some very good students have gone are unable to cope with the subjects that they've offered, with the rate, the pace at which they are teaching. See, you might want to, say that, okay, I'll go to a, Yale University in the US. I'll go to Bath University in UK. I'll go to London School of Economics. And there's nothing wrong with it. What is not right with it is that have you gone through the actual course that you're going to take there? Do you know that the expectation from you in fulfilling all the requirements of the course material, are you able to do that? They might be offering a subject, let's say, how should I put it? Let's say statistics. You are going for economics and there is a subject called statistics, which involve X number of, education that you require. Maybe you should have been a science graduate for that. Are you ready? Are you prepared for that? So you might not be prepared for that. You wouldn't have done it. So if you seek admission and get into it, you might fail. So therefore, the interpretation of best is something one has to explore from what the expectation from the university is. It could be not just related with the rank. Faculty to student ratio. You might be in a position where you would want a little bit of personal attention. So you want to go to a university where faculty to student ratio is not more than 30 or 40. There are public universities who will have a student faculty ratio to 80 also. So you might not benefit, you might not learn anything. And the cost. Well, all of these big universities that they put and they spend a lot of money doing the SEO, if you know what I mean, to be on top. And they spend this digital marketing and good dollars to stay on top. The minute you try and apply to them, the costs are intimidating. I mean, they are ridiculously high. So, it might not be the best. It might seem to you that this is the best, but it might not be the best. It might be just the most expensive, right? And before I forget, is it the fact that your friends, cousins, relatives have endorsed it, so you will simply go with it? There's another problem. Just because my aunt, my uncle's son, daughter has gone there and today has a job in XYZ company, doesn't mean it's the right thing for me also. Please don't do that. I think most of the students can convince their parents, and if the parents are on the call, then please, what is right for your child may not be right for someone else, or vice versa. What was right for another kid in your group is not the same thing that is right for your child. So please, you're spending top dollar, you're spending a good amount of money, even if you're taking loans. Please follow each individual is separate. Find what is the best university for you. Okay. And typically everyone will go through the list of Googles for top 10 or 100 universities and aspire to get admission and then call it research. That is not research. What is the right way to go about selecting the university? We will come to that. But before that, there's more. It's the requirements. They could be mind-boggling. So it's typical. What I'm trying to put out here is quite typical. SOP is statement of purpose, the why, a particular course, a particular university, a particular outcome. You see, it's not, everybody has not gone to all the universities you apply. Everybody knows that. I mean, even your, counselor, admissions counselor who will be looking at your application knows that you wouldn't have necessarily visited the university or the city or the country that you're applying to. It is quite clear. Having said that, a lot of students come to me and say, sir, the question is the statement of purpose. I don't know what is the statement of purpose here. Why I'm selecting a particular course. There are 5, universities that I want to go to. I've done my research and I want to apply. That is not the right way of approaching it. You have to see, for anything that you undertake at this point of time, these steps that you undertake will define not only what you would study further, It'll define how you will do your job. How will you become a person who's trying to achieve something. So if you're already that person, then there is no problem. If you're not, then this is the right stage where you start deciding that if I'm going to take steps which are going to really, really change my life, because from just being a graduate, now you're heading towards getting into the real world of trying to build a career, build a skill, build something that will last you for a very, very long time in your life. So statement of purpose becomes something that is not only about just the course. It is about how you want to project yourself. So even if you've not been to any particular place, you must explore through internet, through friends, through making calls, through communications as to what is your statement of purpose. These are the questions which have to be taken seriously. The devil is in the details. If you don't take these questions seriously, there is no chance of you ever getting admission or getting scholarship. You might get, if you go, even today, there are, I'm not going to name, you walk into, there are those typical, consultants, which are agents, actually, they're not even consultant agents, who will tell you we have tie-up with 500 colleges across, and you will get admission. And you will, they are doing it. It's a business for 2 decades plus. But when you go there, God knows what you will do with that. So it's not about, not about what I'm telling you, it's about what you want. You have to explore it yourself, and nobody can give you a statement of purpose but yourself. Okay, the essays are typically a body of statement of purpose. They keep asking you questions of what matters to you, why do you want to come in a particular college, why do you like a particular subject. So these are also, the admission counselor wants to understand the aspects of your character. It is required in some countries, and it is the best thing that will happen to you, because you will start questioning how you're going to, select a course, select a university. So this is a very, very important part of differentiating. Like I said, if you remember the first slide that I put out there, so the marks are not the only thing today. These things, the statement of purpose, the essays, your CV, will then define that, what are the differentiating factors within you. All right. So please take this extremely, extremely seriously. CV, as I put it, your biodata, your academic and non-academic profile, enlisting research, any projects that you've undertaken and which have been recognized. Okay. And then there is another differentiator, which is LOR, which is what the principals were saying, they are signing apart from transcripts, is the letters of reference. Big issue is the extracurricular activities. I have to develop my profile within and outside of college curriculum, sports, social service, learn an instrument, anything. So when you go through these, requirements, again, I'm saying they're mind-boggling, because it appears like you expect so much out of an individual. It seems like I'm trying to save the world. Is it even possible? Please be, aware that the evaluator or the admissions counselor knows that you're barely in your early 20s. You cannot put a CV out there. You cannot put a letter of reference out there. You cannot put an essay out there saying that at 22, 23, 24, 25, I've changed the world completely. They understand that perfectly well. Don't look at essays of other people and, put it down there saying that this is what I am. Don't do it, because they understand that, you couldn't have changed the world completely. I'm talking about 99.99% of the students. If you happen to be one Sachin Tendulkar and all, great. But, most of us, including me, 99.99% haven't really changed the world yet. What they're looking for is the right kind of intent, your character, the things that you started out doing. Okay. If you are going in a particular direction where they know that this person has thought about what this person wants to do in his life or her life, and being able to follow that path, the intention of doing that particular thing, a little bit of difference that they have made from what it was earlier is more than enough. Do you get it? So it comes from the true self. You don't have to project anything you're not. You just have to be able to think through that this is what I'm this is why I did what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing, that eventually it might make a slight difference. It might improve me as a person, or it might change somebody's life for the better, right? So these are some of the things, these are some of the finer aspects of how people look at individuals. So trust me, this is the right way of going about, projecting yourself, with great honesty. This requires another slide. So when you're breaking it down to letters of references, my academic references, if you've done well in a particular subject, if you've done well in a particular project that you did in that particular subject, have somebody talk about it, that give you a letter of reference saying that this was some of the projects that this person undertook, and this is what different he or she brought to this particular subject or the research or the project. Okay, my sports, arts, community and service references. So if you're competing at the state, central, whatever level, let there be the coach who says that this person has the potential of representing the country, or they have really seen the growth from being nothing, from starting small to really reaching a great level of expertise in that particular sport. Community service. Don't think you go get a certificate from one NGO my aunt is working in, my uncle is working in, and they will sign the reference that I'll give. No, that is not going to work. Nobody's going to look at it. They're going to put it in the dustbin. If you are doing community service, then you have to project, you have to create an actual report on what you did, why what you did mattered to you, and how is it that it has even changed. Even if you made a difference to one particular life, it is instead of saying that I worked for 3 years and I worked with 1,000 people, which means nothing. I will give you an example of a child who was just going to her own school, and there was just helping dyslexic students write the papers, okay, for appearing in exams. This child, she was a senior, of course, she was wanting to study abroad. She went and she was just writing the paper for dyslexic students in that particular school. She did it for so many years that she was known for that person who every child who had any special requirements would go to her. Now that became her, and that was really something that she was doing, which was really commendable. You see, you have to just do the smaller things with your right intentions, what they're looking for. Not a certificate saying I've done 4 years and I've donated 10 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees for the benefit of girl child. It makes no difference. Do you get it? So that is how one has to approach this. And there has to be somebody who has to endorse what you're doing. You yourself cannot project yourself to be that. There has to be people who will endorse this. So are you saying somebody actually believes everything we write? Trust me, they do. They do. Okay, let's assume we know the list of universities and courses. Criteria for selection of countries. This is where the ball starts rolling. There are two main criteria at this stage. Okay, one is the stay for employment after course completion. See, these are some of the questions which had come to my mind, which is coming to minds of many parents and students. And cost of education and financial sponsorship. I know each and every one of you have these questions. The minute you set out even to think, our principal of Lala College, Principal Arora, said that there are a lot of universities in India which are offering very good courses. Does it really make sense to go abroad? And I think it is very accurate. That question needs to be asked. That question needs to be understood. And that question defines why you want to go. So when you want to go and study abroad, you have to ask this question that what I'm doing here, or there are courses in our country which are as good or better or cost as much or lesser. Does it make sense? You must ask this question. I personally also believe that it is not a guarantee for any student who goes abroad that he or she will be successful, or he or she will get a job, or he or she will be more successful than a person who's studying educating themselves in India. There are no guarantees for that. There has to be a valid reason for why you want to go abroad. Students, my own children went abroad because they wanted to do multiple subjects. There were no courses for my elder one to make a movie, learn about making a movie and study economics or psychology at the same level. There's no such thing. So she explored that and then she chose that, okay, this is why I want to go. There are students, I was talking to a student who was saying that I want to do psychology, but the degree courses in psychology, there are certain universities who are, we have, let's say 8,000 seats in our country for the courses that she's looking for. And the number of applicants are 8 lakh. So, there's a very, very poor chance that she will make it. So she's looking at a program in psychology abroad. So there has to be some sort of logic to not just saying, oh, I want to go abroad. There has to be some sort of logic to why you want to go abroad. What are the courses? What are the universities? What is it that you are, trading it against in this own country, right? So systematically, logically, you have to arrive at that. Why I put this, there are two main criteria at this stage is stay for employment. After you've chosen your courses and universities, then there you will also think, what about the stay for employment after my course? I want to work, right? And there is fees. How am I going to, pay for all these fees? Are there any scholarships? So what I've done is I've created a small chart which tells you a little bit about how one goes about, first about stay for employment after course completion. So what happens is there is something called OPT. OPT is optional practical training, which is offered upfront in the United States, where you will, as soon as you take admission, whether you're an undergraduate or a postgraduate or a master's or a doctorate, they'll say you are allowed so many years of work after you have completed your course, only if you've completed your course. In the US, courses below 1 year are not given OPT. So you have to study for at least a year to be able to qualify for OPT, optional practical training. What happens in optional practical training is after you've gotten that option. So STEM students is science, technology, and math. If you are part of the STEM, then you are given 2 years after your course. If you're part of the non-STEM like liberal arts, etc., then you are given for 1 year. In that 1 year, you are able to work for any company. And after you finish your OPT, that particular company has to apply for your visa under their, letterhead, in the sense that that company has to hire you for further, employment. So then there is another system. There is H1, HB, H1, HB visas, H1B visas. There are, there is something called O visas. So there are various visa categories in which you can apply after you've completed your OPT. So can you work? Yes, but is it difficult? It is. So, if any consultants are offering you, you go, you finish this course and immediately you'll get a job, please be very, very aware that you get the OPT. It is already stamped on your visa the minute you left, minute you leave from here. It is called the F1 visa. But during that period that you're trying to search employment, you must be made aware that there is a lottery system by the United States government for all the corporates who are, who will apply for a visa on your behalf. There is no guarantee that you can stay in the United States after your OPT period is completed. Okay, that is one. However, when you come to Canada, it changes completely. Now there has been a lot of influx into countries like Canada and UK because, if you take even if you take, let's say, an 8-month program, a diploma program in Canada, you are given, after your course, you are given 8 months, employment option. You can stay in Canada for 8 months and get employed. Until then, again, if the company sponsors you, the same logic applies. The government will allow, let's say you have taken a 3-year course in Canada, for whether it is PhD, PG, master's, doctorate. If you've undertaken 3 years course, then after you complete your course, then for 3 years you can work, seek a job, work in Canada. After 3 years, either you, in Canada there is an option, either you, apply for the PR card, which is also, there are certain questions coming up. We'll answer the question in the question answer session. Don't worry about it. Hold on to your questions. I'll answer as many as I can. So coming back to Canada, they give you the option of after you've finished an X amount of course, then you are allowed to seek and do a job for as many years directly proportional to the course undertaken. And then you can also apply for your permanent resident card. You can become a citizen. You can seek a job with a company who will then sponsor you. Then you can stay there. United Kingdom gives you standard 2 years, up to 2 years after you finished your course over there. So you can stay and work for another 2 years up till when another company can then sponsor you. Okay. So these are, in Australia, of course, you can, there are, so I already explained that there are TAF, which is Technical and Further Education Colleges, VET, which is the Vocational Education and Training Colleges, and RTO, which is the Registered Training Colleges. You are given an option to stay and work over there in proportion to the number of years that you study. Okay, so these are some of the instant quick tips that I'm sharing with you. Okay, this is a very important slide. Cost of education and financial scholarships. See, what I've put over here is the average college cost includes tuition, boarding and lodging, expenses per year. Please understand that a lot of the universities, when you're doing your research, might talk about the tuition fees. It doesn't mean that your boarding and lodging means your stay over there. A lot of students miss that. It also comes under housing. A lot of websites will call it housing. Okay. Boarding and lodging or housing is one. Tuition is common, which is the expense you bear for educating yourself. Housing is where you stay. And then there are, whether you like it or not, there are going to be certain expenses per year. Okay. Generally, the rate which I put down over there, and this is for your benefit again, US dollar at 75, sterling pound, UK is at 100, Australian dollar is at 55, and Canadian dollar is at 60. Okay. These are the rough average costs that I put there. Please understand, which is why when I'm trying to showcase the cost over here, it should not happen that the students are thinking, oh, it's the same. It is not. That is why I've defined this for you. What are the rates? So when you calculate or you multiply, you will know how much it costs in Indian rupees. Okay. So United States happen to be the most expensive. It's also because they offer you a lot of flexibility. They give you a lot of subjects that you can move and choose from. United States probably has the highest number of universities offering international programs and choices. They are also probably the highest in terms of the quality of education, teachers, research programs. Very, very high. And but the con is that to get a job in the United States is very rare. It is very, very difficult even after the OPT program, because large number of students from all over the world keep applying, and because it's the land of dreams for many, it is very, very difficult to sustain a life there unless you've bagged yourself a very good job. Okay, so that is the reality as far as the United States is concerned. Typically, what I've done is I've put the cost there, 30,000 to 60,000. The typical cost that you will. This is again cost of education and tuition. This includes everything, housing and expenses, 30 to 60,000 a year. A lot of students ask that what if we work? So I know this question is 100% there in everybody's mind, that what if we go and work over there while we are studying? Okay, in the previous slide we discussed, once you finish your education, what are the amount of time you get to do your job, etc., and make money. Here the question is that whilst you are doing the course, are you allowed to work there, and what is the amount of money that you can make? I want to tell you upfront that if you work, if you're allowed to work, so this is common across all the countries, which is why I've not put it as a separate point. Whether you are taking courses in United States, Canada, UK, or Australia, you are allowed to work certain hours. It could be 20 hours a week, or it could be 40 hours a week, depending upon which country you're going to. But the amount of money that you get is extremely, extremely frugal. I mean, it's not too much. And, that will probably take care of only the, outside expenses which you will need for, let's say, you bought something, you bought a t-shirt, you went to a restaurant to eat, you traveled from one place to another, public transport, etc. It will not cover the cost of tuition or housing. It just covers the third aspect, which are other expenses per year. Okay, which is why I will not try to project it something that will really help you save a lot of cost. It won't. Okay, while you are studying, you are given the option of working in maybe the university. Sometimes they say only within the university you can work. Sometimes even if you're allowed to work outside of your universities in certain countries, the amount of money that you will make will not suffice to mitigate or reduce the cost of tuition or housing. It will just take care of your expenses. So my advice is, don't count on it to reduce your overall expenses. It'll just be for those additional expenses. A lot of students do it, and it's a right way of going about it, so that you don't put additional burden on your parents. So you can work, but it will definitely not take away from your tuition and housing. If you can see the other countries, Canada is relatively low cost. When we talk about aid, see, when you go and approach universities, typically when you go in, there are two ways of doing it. One, you apply. It is written over there, merit-based and need-based in United States. It is common for many universities. Merit-based means on the basis of your academic achievements. So if you've scored extremely well, and you are one of those few in the country which has scored well in some subjects, you are recognized by that, then there are scholarships available. Need-based is also something that you come from a very financially insecure or family which cannot afford to pay for the education. Sometimes they consider it. There is aid which is given. There is a systematic way of doing it. There are universities, all universities across United States, Canada, UK, Australia, or any other country that you go, they will give you a form which you have to fill, in which you have to express that this is why I think I need aid. It could be merit-based or it could be need-based. But without applying for merit-based or need-based scholarship or aid, you will never get it. Okay. The point is that when you go through university-wise, requirements of financial requirements, and then there is something called, in UK there is something called bursary. I don't know if you put it up. It's something called bursary. Is basically a division within the UK colleges where they say, okay, they evaluate for all the aids that are available. So there are certain aid available for a particular skill. Let's say you are very good at particular sport. So they will say, okay, this aid can go to this person, right? So for everything that you do, you have to apply for the aid, whether it is merit-based or need-based. It could be academic, it could be non-academic, but you have to apply. But what happens is, typically one has to, why I'm not making a very big deal about aid is because one has to be ready for being able to spend that kind of money. If you start with the aid, I think it is going to be more often than not, people are going to get disappointed, because go to countries like UK, Canada, Australia. There are universities which are really low on cost. Okay, so you can go for a year. The advantage of let's say UK is there's a 1 year course that you can do and you get your master's. So whether you go to reasonable colleges with a 10,000, 20,000, but 10 to 15 lakhs, you can get a loan and you can right away pay for your course. So what I'm trying to tell you here is not to discourage you from anything. We apply. There are students who've got 50%, 70%. Sometimes there are very, very good students who have got even 100%. Let me be honest. It's not that you don't get financial scholarships or aid. Yes, you do. You do get. But you have to arrive at that. You must be able to, get that entire, process into place before you say, okay, I want aid. You cannot start with that. You should be deserving candidate. You should have enough academic, non-academic, or need-based, merits for being able to seek aid. All right. So a lot of colleges, when you are very, very good at something, they will upfront say, okay, these are very good students and you applied for aid. They'll match what aid is given to such students and then offer it to you. It is done. So it is not rare. My child, I have to tell you this, my child also, because it was merit-based, she got in her college was about, we spent mostly about 50,000 a year. In US for 4 years became 200,000, which is a lot of money, honestly. But out of the 200,000, she got $45,000 aid because she was able to. She was told that they can see that the academic reach. So there is the marking system where she was able to maintain 90+% in the subjects that she was told. She maintained that average over a period of couple of semesters. Then she was given that aid. So it is not rare. People are given aid, but you have to be ready that, it will not always happen. Okay. So these are some of the costs that I've put it down there. For, places like UK, Australia, you can do your master's in 1 year, cost you much less. In US and Canada, the costs are relatively far lower. The advantage in Canada is that you can apply for a permanent resident card. Unlike in other countries where, the minute you start studying, they count it as, you're staying over there. Immediately you can apply for your permanent residency. So by the time you've done your postgraduate, you've done your amount allotted for, taking up a job, you're already in the process of becoming a good chance of becoming a citizen there, right? So getting a permanent residency and then citizenship, but the process has started. That's why people choose Canada. With UK and Australia, people choose because you just need 1 more year. In 1 year, you spend that money, 10, 15, 20 lakhs, and then you are done. Then you can become a postgraduate or a master's, you get a master's degree, and then you can continue your, employment anywhere in the world. In United States, like I said, people go because they can study, they can do a lot more in terms of, variety of subjects than when you are a master's holder there. Then you have actually captured everything that you can have to learn from the best in the world. Then the world is your oyster. Anywhere you go, you can show your degree and get a job. The likelihood goes up, but it costs a lot more. Okay. And staying in the US nowadays has become slightly difficult than what it was a couple of years ago. So these are some of the things that I want you to consider when you're, looking at your options. Some quick tips. Order is important. Finding the right subjects and the right course. Start with enlisting subjects or courses that interest you most. So I want to bring back to, what we discussed rightly. Okay. You cannot start with the Google saying that these are the best universities. Okay. Find the right subjects and the right course. That is the right way. Then find the right universities, colleges that offer these courses. You have to go in this format. Do not try to match universities you like and compromise with your courses. Don't think that if you have studied at a London School of Economics, that you will get an MBA job over here, even if you scored much lesser. Another child would have studied at a much lower, ranked university, but because they have, let's say, got, in economics, they have scored X, they might get a higher, probability of getting a job when the, person who's looking at the 2 CVs. So do not just simply go by, the name of the college. Do not match universities you like and compromise with your courses. Evaluate the acceptance rate, teacher-student ratio, number of classes, credits for each course, and the alumni. So people who have this is important to understand what is it that you're going for, whether you'll be able to match yourself over there. One of the biggest things why, the example that comes to my mind, again, from what Ms. Arora was saying when the child went, we encourage students to speak to the admission counselor and student reps. So if my child, it cannot be dependent on me only as a parent. He or she has to talk to the groups over there to understand what is the culture over there like. What are the subjects, whether it is difficult, whether it is easy. Don't be dependent on just the website. Pick up the phone, talk to people. There are a lot of student counselors, most of the universities across the world, where you can feel free. If you're intimidated by talking to a teacher or a dean, there are a lot of student counselors every university across the world in all the countries have, where you should pick up and join their groups and start talking to them about learning. This is why they are created. It is nothing special, nothing different. It has been happening for 3 to 4 decades. 30-40 सालों से हो रहा है. There are students who are helping other students. Okay, so please make sure that you join those groups so that the student counselor reps can help you. Okay, then you create a list of universities you chose. Then you create a calendar for important dates. No matter how much research you do, if you're not able to create a calendar for when these things have to be submitted, let me tell you, you will not be able to make any sense. So it's quite simple. You did your research, but you didn't apply in time, or you didn't submit your projects in time, or you didn't submit your references in time, then they will not consider it, no matter how good you are. So each and every college has certain dates which you have to comply with. For everyone who's looking at admission in 2022, this is the right time to start. Let me be very clear. It's a systematic way of doing things. If you don't do it systematically, chances are you might not get into the college of your choice. Okay. Calendar is extremely important. If you don't do everything in the right amount, at the right time, you are not going to secure any admission. No matter who you are, you might be the prime minister or president of any country. The colleges, once they've closed on a particular application, they will not entertain it. Simple and straight. Okay, and then you start the application process. So this is just to reinforce what I'm trying to say, how you have to go about it systematically. Start with the calendar for important dates. Projects and portfolio submissions. Whatever you are trying to say is your reference. Whatever you're trying to say is something that you've done well. See, academics you're following, because automatically your college is saying that these are the dates for your exams. These are the dates when you have to appear. You are not deciding that. You have to appear for your exams, right? But then there are other exams. For example, if you have to appear for a TOEFL, for an IELTS, for a GRE, for a GMAT, these are certain things you have to prepare for. You can't just appear for it. So you have to then look at the date which you feel that you might have to appear for, and then study accordingly. All right. So there are two kinds of academic requirements. One is your actual college, and the other is the requirements of the university. So it could be IELTS, GMAT, GRE. So you have to prepare for that in the right amount of time. And then projects and portfolio submissions. If you are going to take references, then you cannot, like I said, just go to one teacher and say, teacher, this is the reference, please sign it. See, your teacher will sign it, your principal will sign it. But if you are able to create an actual case that this is why the teacher has signed it, and the teacher or the dean or the principal recognizes it, then it will have far more weightage. Whether it is sports, whether you're learning an instrument, whether you're doing a social service, all of this there has to be a build-up of what you started doing and where you reached. That is a reference, not just saying he's good. Okay, so you have to build your profile. Undertake classes if required to build your talent, skill, academic or practical training required to improve your profile. Now, it is possible that what you were doing was at a very preliminary level, but if you were to help yourself achieve far more, if you are given a little bit of support, if you did some course, some guidance, think about it. Undertake that. You can undertake certain classes, certain help, reference courses from people and then improve your profile. It is a right way of going about things. So if you've not done it till now, you can still do it. 3-month course, 6-month course, skill development, meeting a expert, talking to a coach, improving your skill, learning an instrument, anything. All of these things, a plan has to be put into place. And of course, start interaction with the university representatives for cultural fit, clubs and societies, etc. So if you are, when you arrive at, these are some of the universities that I like to, be a part of, then you have to immediately start, because over a period of time only you will be able to ask the right questions. It will not be done in a week. It has to be a couple of months of understanding their, and from others who will put down their questions. You will understand that whether this particular university is the right fit for you or not. So all these things have to be done simultaneously. So over a period of time, you'll be able to create a profile. I hope you understand. I hope I made myself clear. Well, it is indeed a lot of effort, and I'm not saying it is not, but it is a lot of effort because you're investing into yourself. Okay, so don't think that typically students, they walk into a admissions counselor or agents of nowadays that are there. They say, these are my marks, these are they, give me admission, and they get admission. And when they go there, if you're lucky, you get into a university which you are happy with. If you're unlucky, then the course that you've taken, the student faculty ratio, the courses that you could have taken are not available to you because you didn't do any research. So it can be achieved by following the steps systematically. Admission process tends to involve a lot of hours spent on your computers, laptops, and even a large amount of time on the phones, figuring things out, communicating with the universities and authorities. Don't be afraid. We are, as Indians, I've seen, we are afraid to pick up the phone and talk to the, whether it's Australia, UK, Canada, and we speak in English. You will not believe the number of Chinese students. I'm just giving you a reference here. The number of Chinese students that are picking up the phone, even if their first language is not English, is far higher than the Indian students who have far more. They've learned English all their life, and they are afraid to pick up the phone and talk. Whereas on the other side, they are paid for talking to students. They are very happy to help you. So don't worry, pick up the phone, talk to as many people as you want on the other side, because they want you, they want your business, they want you to join the colleges, they will help you, right? So please, please, please forget about the agents or consultants. You can do a little bit of your own research too, and feel free to call them. And yes, this is time bound. So you don't want to miss the bus. Everything is time bound. Okay. Also, you're spending a significant chunk, paisa. So you would like your child, if you're a parent, or yourself, to get the best shot at the universities. To get the best shot at the universities, you have to spend some time developing your profile, talking to the students, creating your projects, and then being able to apply. This will also help you if you've done it systematically. When you're looking for certain financial aid, etc., this will help you because you put in the effort, which people will say, okay, this student has actually grown from point X to point Y, and this is why this student deserves aid. Okay, so there is a lot of benefit in doing things systematically. Let me be very frank. Okay, I think we have spoken a lot about me in the beginning. So I will just quickly wrap this up. This is me. I have already a business that I'm doing, and there is the only reason I've undertaken this is because I feel that there are a lot of students which will benefit from my personal experiences. And now my personal experience, and now there are a lot of, I have a team which is, taking care of certain things. So this is the application process up to submission, helping students fulfill their aspirations. This is what we help you do. So instead of just saying that the typical hygiene factors of detailed knowledge of schools, colleges in a couple of countries is there. There is a network, there is a small network that we have also created, but we do not force any colleges on any students. So which is not my business model. We start with the selection of courses, then the selection of colleges, profile building and references, advice on essays, SOPs and projects, filling up forms for colleges, proper calendar for submissions, and then submissions. These are the services offered. Stage 2 is the compiling and vetting of documents for obtaining visa. We have partnered with VFS. VFS is the largest company in the world for visa processes. Visa document. This is something called Visa Documentation Service Program. What they do is they put all your visa documentation together so that you don't have to worry about, whether you are putting things in proper order or not. This is all. See, let me tell you, all this is not mandatory. It is all optional. You can choose to do your own. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to. These are all the benefits that we have brought in, integrated into our offerings, that there are separate charges for separate things. If you don't want to, go with VFS, you can do it on your own. If you do everything systematically, my own personal advice is there is not required. But if you feel that you will require, then you can tie up, for this also, right? Nobody in the world can guarantee you any admissions. There are a lot of agents who are given commissions from colleges for bringing in students. They can guarantee you admissions, but whether it is something, when I mean admissions, it means something that you deserve. It is not something that is available out there and you get it, which is what. So if you're looking at certain colleges which come from your personality, which come from your need, which come from your affordability, which come from the fact that you will be able to gain, then you might look at certain universities which are outside the realm of, what typically you will get, when you go to a university, when you go to an agent for it. But what we give you is thorough understanding of yourself, thorough understanding of how to evaluate courses, so that you don't end up going, to a college and regretting. We will try. The probability of doing that will come higher if you are, if there is a deep understanding of your personality and your academic goals before advice. So this is what we do. We don't start with guaranteeing you admission. We start with guaranteeing you the highest probability with your personality, your financial condition, your requirements from this, whether it is academic or whether it is a job, right? So that is the approach that we have undertaken. What we expect, you sign a contract with us after clearly understanding the terms, okay, which will be in 3 stages. Evaluating of capability of students to match with colleges. Second will be applicable. They are all, costed separately also. Evaluation of capability, application process till submission if we have shortlisted the colleges. And third is visa guidance. You can choose any one or all, okay, or none. I mean, after this session, if it has benefited you, it's great. You can then choose to take any one of the services or all of the services or none. Okay. Just keep these points in your mind that any counselor is as interested as you are in yourself. In other words, if you care, we care. Dedication, you know yourself best. So when our team asks you to prepare for SAT, TOEFL, projects, assignments, essays, we expect you to meet deadlines and access. You have to be available for us. The people give you references for us, or the people give you references, the projects you undertake to complete everything in time. This is my genuine advice to you, that please invest in yourself, in the time to know yourself, to develop your profile if you want to study abroad or make a career or you want to settle abroad. This will be what you do at this point of time will really define or determine your entire future. Okay, so don't take it lightly. My only submission, my only advice, my only request is that if you are choosing to take education, to go for education abroad, and then plan to settle or work anywhere, you have to take it as seriously as anything that you've done in your past. And with that, I come to the end of my presentation. There is an email ID over here. I also checked with Rahul sir that if representatives, student representatives from Lala, Podar, and Maharashtra can, if they want, collect the students' questions, or if they are interested to take this further, then we can look at what to do. So if there are any questions, we scheduled it till 1. So we can have questions now. So
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. And I'm sure the students have a better vision regarding international studies. I would now request Gargi to take over the session and go ahead with the question and answer part. Over to you, Gargi.
Yes, thank you, Kashish. We have already got some questions during the registration process. So the first question is, should we try for foreign education in the field of finance, or is Indian education better?
So this is a very good question. It is not just for finance. Okay, when we started out by saying that we have to evaluate everything in the light of what is available in the country. Okay, whether you're taking finance, marketing, operations, whether you're becoming a scientist or a geologist, whether you're becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a journalist, each one of the streams is something that you have to evaluate first by what is it that you are being offered here. So if you are going to be offered here something that meets your, let's say there is cost accounting, finance means what? Let's say there is cost accounting, and cost accounting over here is sufficient for you to become an expert and join, let's say, a Mahindra and L&T. I'm just giving examples, throwing examples over here. Then go ahead and do it here. There is no problem. Let's say you're looking at IT services. If you're looking at certain languages which will enable you to get skills which are required for programming in a particular language, which is available here, but the seats are limited or the colleges are far and not within your reach, then you can look at options abroad where you can get these subjects and get the admissions very easily. So look at your subjects and evaluate what is here. Yes, the answer is yes, you can go for education abroad in finance, and there are very good universities which offer you all sorts of there are people who want to specialize in microfinance. There are people who want to specialize in certain streams of finance which may or may not be available in our country. Then if you find such courses which interest you, then you should definitely take courses abroad.
Okay. So the next question is, which exams are necessary to give to join international colleges?
Okay. See, this is extremely dependent on what stream you choose. So a lot of colleges have a GMAT and GRE. GRE is typically for engineering, math, all of those streams that each and every college will give you a set of requirements. So if you're looking at things which are in journalism, in in like my forgotten movie making or liberal arts, whether you're a psychologist, then they are different set of evaluating standards. So they will typically say you create a project, or they'll give you something to fulfill as a part of their requirement. So standard exams include IELTS, which is the English language test. Some of the universities have GMAT and GRE, but then individually for the courses that you are going to take, the colleges themselves clearly put down what is required for you to undertake the application process.
Okay, sir. The next question is, which country is the best for interior designing diploma?
So there is no such thing like this country is the best for whether it is interior designing or whether it is finance or whether it is XYZ. Today, the interior design also has been broken up into various subjects which are earlier. They create a lot of students, so a lot of faculties, a lot of courses come with a combination of digital design. They come with a lot of aspects of architecture along with interior. They come with a lot of aspects of moving images, 2D, 3D aspects. So it cannot be said that this particular course is the best for interior design. What you have to understand is whether what interests you. Are you the type who will like to learn a lot of softwares? Are you a design person? Are you a person who likes to go from the outside to the inside, which means from the architecture into the interior? Are you the type of person who likes building bridges, dams, or you're the type of person who makes portraits and statues, or the type of person who makes flats and buildings and offices? There are a lot of permutation and combination when it comes to even design. So there is not one shoe fits all approach. So you have to explore a little bit of understanding that what interests you more. Is it the art side of it? Is it the software side of it? Is it the 2D, 3D, being able to project it in a certain way side of it? You have to explore these things to get into that depth. Then you will be able to say, oh, this is what I like doing. So therefore, now when I'm looking at the courses that are offered of this sort, then I arrive at the colleges and then you go ahead. I hope I'm making sense for you.
Thank you, sir. So our next question is, how many total year it will take if one have to do PhD in an individual subject, and which institute is good to go on?
PhD? You said PhD?
Yes, sir.
So PhD is typically, as you know, it's a doctorate. Typically, after your, master's or postgraduate, you are given an option typically to pursue PhD. It could be 3 to 7 years, depending upon what stream you choose. PhD is also an offer given by a lot of universities. If you're part of the laboratory, if you're part of the research team, working on a particular subject in which you are very good at or you aspire to be good at, and when you're doing your PhD, you are given a stipend because you're contributing to create something which will be, which will become a new standard for people who are studying that subject. So, for example, if you're, doing a PhD in microbiology, so what are those organisms? What are the behavioral changes of a particular set of organisms? Maybe in, let's say, ocean, you take oceanography and then you explore the ecology, whether, what we are doing as humans is destroying, the climate. Then you are doing a PhD in microorganisms, in oceanography. Then you're able to, spend 2-3 years, you become an expert. There is a course fee, but you'll also be given stipend or some fee. It will be reduced from the fees so that you are able to eventually become an expert at that particular subject. But you have to be decided at that stage that you're really going down that stream. So you have to be very focused that this particular one subject I want to become the expert at. Only then you can go in for a PhD. Again, there is no country or university which is good for it. It will come from the course, from how you look at yourself progressing to become an expert in that, and then you can undertake PhD. Okay.
Okay. So the last question for today, which are the top MBA universities with 1 year program abroad, and what is the difference between 1 year and 2 year MBA?
Okay. So again, I've already described what the meaning of best is. What is best for you will be very different for what is best for another kid. What is best for somebody is not the same as the best for somebody else. 1 year programs are offered in diploma. 1 year programs are offered in all countries. In masters, when you do MBA, there are 2 ways. One is, experience. After you get 2 to 3 years of experience, you join an MBA college for a 2 year program, or you join fresher. MBA is also given for a 2 year program. In UK, Australia, there are 1 year programs which are offered for MBAs, which are also as good, not bad. The difference between a 1 year and a 2 year MBA, as you asked, is that in a 2 year plan, first year, you are generally taught about all subjects like finance, marketing, organizational aspects, human resources, so on and so forth, all the streams of management. And then in the second year, you can choose subjects which you want to specialize. For example, You can choose marketing, digital marketing, online marketing, so on and so forth. Or you can choose subjects in finance, corporate finance, or you can choose HR and then specialize in that particular stream. So you become an expert in that by the year 2. So this is in year 1. In 1 year, typically they have 2 to 3 semesters, 2 semesters in which they are just told that okay, you have to decide in the first 1 or 2 months which stream that you want to take, or you have already decided and then you're just specializing in marketing or digital marketing or finance, right? So this is the difference between 2 years. In 2 years, you can choose to change a lot. In 1 year, you have to be more decided, focused so that you finish it in 1 year. These are the differences.
I think Gargi, you can ask Danisha to unmute herself because she has a question in the chat box. Danisha, are you there?
Yes.
Danisha, I hope you can hear me.
Sir, I can't see Danisha in the participant.
Sir, I unmuted.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes, Danisha, you can share your audio video. Yes,
And
share your
good
questions.
afternoon, sir. Sir, myself Danisha. Sir, I'm going to UK and Shelflick Haram University for MSc in Finance. So, is it good, or should I change the university or something? Like, I am too confused for it.
There would have been some process, no, Danisha? You would have undertaken to secure admission there.
Yes, sir. There are many processes for funding, like for the fees. Like they are like I said about the scholarship for them. So they said that after doing the funding work, like they said that take a student's loan which is unsecured for 7.5 lakh, and then she said that the remaining amount when you reach over there, you have to work over there and you have to pay the amount for it. Rest. And 3 lakh somewhat she said that it's a scholarship base, like, but then the amount which I'm taking for the students loan, sir, is it okay taking it, or is it good that taking a fund or something like that and paying the amount over there, or there is another way of something?
I'll try and I'm not being able to comprehend the question properly, but I'll try and answer it. Then you tell me whether you got the answer or not.
Yes,
First
sir,
of
yes,
all,
sir.
whatever you are being told, okay,
Yeah.
you have to verify with the university. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Number
Yes,
one.
sir.
So there is nobody who's telling you not to communicate with the university. Like I said, the university has their own system where there will be student counselors, or there will be admission counselor. In your case, admission counselor, so that because you already secured admission, so you talk to them.
Yeah, but they are like, if you want to change the course or something, but is finance good for MSc? Because I have done my post graduation from Lala Lajpatrai from here, and they are like, I said them for MBA, but they said that you should not do MBA. You take a 1 year course and 2 years working visa, like post study working visa.
Yeah, UK gives you 2 years. We already discussed that.
Yes, sir. So she said that 1 year you study, because MBA, she said that don't apply for MBA. It is too costly for you, and then it will be like living over there will be hard for me, like she said.
Does MSc in finance, have you seen the courseware? Does it exist? Is my question.
Yeah, sir, I have seen. I have went in that university. I have searched everything over there, and then I said her that it's okay for me. But then she had given me options for it: finance and banking, investment and finance. Like that, she had given me a list of things. So I took MSc in finance only, specifically. I did not divide in it. Is it? She said me that.
I'll recommend that you share your profile with me, because I cannot upfront just give you any answer like that. You share your profile with me. I will evaluate it and then give you a proper answer.
Okay, sir. Sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
You have my email ID already on that.
Yes, sir. I'll sure I'll mail you. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I will.
Thank you.
Okay. So I would now request Ms. Aditi Shetty, student volunteer of R.A. Podar College of Commerce and Economics, Autonomous, to propose a formal vote of thanks. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Aditi Shetty from R.A. Podar College. And I'd like to say that the very thought of leaving our home country and moving abroad to a completely different setting without proper guidance can be quite confusing and intimidating. So a very big thank you to our resource person, Mr. Jitendra Mirwani, for giving an excellent coverage on our today's topic. It's been such an insightful session, sir, and we even had students from the United States who joined in. So this session was a truly international. Thank you to the principal and vice principal of Lala Lajpatrai College of Commerce and Economics, R.A. Podar College of Commerce and Economics Autonomous, and Maharashtra College of Arts, Science and Commerce. I also extend my thanks to the faculty in charge, Dr. Rahul Shetty, faculty Lala Lajpatrai College, Ms. Divya Lalwani, faculty R.A. Podar, and Mrs. Sugra Sheikh, faculty Maharashtra College, for their contribution. Further, I'd like to thank the student volunteers of all the three colleges and, of course, the audience for their interest and attention. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Aditi. And I hope the session was truly fruitful. Thank you to all the principals and vice principals for joining us till the end of the session. Thank you, Kavita madam. Thank you, Arora madam.
Yeah.
And
Thank you,
Siraj
Raf.
sir. Thank you so much. For students, there is a feedback form which is already posted in the